Hello and welcome back once again to another video. What a day I've had. So we are going to start this yesterday at the time of doing this voiceover, where we had a blocked kitchen gully that I stumbled across whilst doing a camera survey for a tank we're going to fit later on down the line. But because I found the drain was blocked, I thought I'll clear it even though the pipework is going to come out. So bit of jetting to do there, bit of surveying with the new ScanProbe X60 X-Range camera. I've recently done a review, so if you haven't seen that one, once you watch this video, please go back and check that out. I will try and remember to leave a link at the end of the video or in the description below. Also, this is why I've had a horrible day. We go back to a restaurant that we had lots of problems with blocked toilets. So I did a survey on that one, found out it was heavily scaled and ended up doing a Picote descale. It was an absolute nightmare, there was no space in there, and on top of everything else got a parking ticket there. So yeah, hope you enjoy this video. If you do, please leave a like, leave a comment if you haven't already, please subscribe. And I'm going to see how far I can get through this before I get fed up with editing tonight. Enjoy the video.
Hello, I'm on TV. If you like this video, give a thumbs up and make sure to hit subscribe at the end.
So, as I said in the intro, this is one of our customers who has previously had a new septic tank from us. He has moved property to a new property and the septic tank needs replacing here. So the plan is to put in a treatment plant, so we were here doing a survey anyway to find out what drainage is here, where it goes, and we're going to replace it all with new plastic. But that's not going to happen till next year, and I found out that gully behind my new X60 from ScanProbe, which is a very good camera, is blocked. Right, let's get the camera in, we'll have a look at what we are dealing with, and then after that we will jet it through and then see what it looks like after. So, I do like this camera. It's very new and I'm getting used to it, but it gives you 3 different options. You've got look-see, or you can use 2 different types of reporting software. I'm going to use this one and I'm going to create a new project. And yeah, I'm going to stick the name in of the property. Obviously I can't show you that. And then I can put all the details in on this screen here. Everything down to depths, the material for the pipework, which is clay in this case. And yeah, nice and simple on the touchscreen and very easy to do. Like I said, still getting used to this, but it's easy to pick up. Lights on. Right, we will ignore the fact that I forgot to zero the meterage after I messed about with it and it is now reading half a meter, but we are at the start and you can see some greasy deposits on the outside. Now, it's that time of year where cameras sit in the van, they're nice and cold, and then you put them into a warm drain and they steam up. So if anyone's got any little tricks for how to stop a camera steaming up, that'd be very handy. But straight in front of us, we've got a lot of grease in this drain, so we're going to have to do some jetting. To jet this one, we are going to use a 6-back ball jet, and we're going to run the jetter on about 2000 psi.
I've got a stupid crash here with my friend.
If you look carefully at the upstream and downstream of this chamber, you can tell it's had some lining work done here previously. Yeah, the pipework is not in great shape, even with the lining done. So yeah, the customer just wants us to put all new plastic in, so we're not too worried about that section. We've surveyed it anyway just to know where things are going. But yeah, this line is just one I just couldn't leave it blocked. And already we've got some nice big chunks of grease coming out. So we're now going to get the ScanProbe X60 back into the drain, which is looking a bit dirtier than it was in the last video I did for this camera. Almost seems a shame to use a new camera, but it's what it's for, so that's what we're going to do with it, is camera drains of it. But at least the drain is looking a lot clearer. And yeah, the actual rail looks still pretty clean. I'm going to try and keep it that way because this is an incredibly good looking camera. So we're looking a lot cleaner. We've got a horrible step in this pipe. It is stepped in the right direction, but yeah, it's going to be replaced. There is a crack on this joint, so I can stick the codes on the box and they'll get a nice report. There's a crack on that one. This joint here looks open, and then we're into that gully in front. There's still a little bit of grease there. Nothing that's going to cause too many problems, and like I said, this drain hasn't got to last very long. You're going to see an awful lot of the ScanProbe camera in this video, but if you haven't already, please go check out that video where I did the unboxing review for it, because yeah, I'm very impressed with it. So let's get the cover back on, and then we can move on to this morning. And this is the bit of the video I'm not looking forward to editing, because I've got 3 hours of footage to go through. So hopefully I can condense it down nicely for you, and it'll all make sense. Well, that's nice and Christmassy. But it is 7 o'clock in the morning, and we are on our way to do a camera survey and descale at a restaurant. Not really what you want to be doing at 7 o'clock in the morning. And it is very cold. Well, this is a stubborn block toilet that I'm sure you probably all remember. It's not currently blocked. It is flushing away this time, which makes a change. But we are going to pull the screws out of this pan. We are going to get the camera down there and see why this toilet keeps on blocking and why it's so stubborn to clear. Look at that, you wouldn't even know I got dirty on the last job. It's almost like I went home and cleaned it. I'm determined to keep this camera clean because, yeah, it's hard to keep a camera clean. But, as I said, it's such a good looking camera, I want it to stay clean. So I'm just going to slot the tablet onto its little holder on the top. We're going to get the camera on and we're going to push it down this drain and find out once and for all why this drain keeps on blocking. And I've got a pretty good guess that it could be scale. In fact, I know it's scale. Now, I'm used to working with limited space, but working in a toilet cubicle doesn't give you a lot of room. And you wait till you see where I'm going to be working next. Now, I kind of think maybe the X40 would have been a better choice of camera. It's a lot smaller. But I do like having a 60-meter rail. I'm going to type in restaurant on here. No, I'm not. What am I going to change it to? What did I call it? Restaurant. Oh, yeah. No, sorry. I couldn't spell restaurant. Luckily, it's got a predictive keyboard at the top. Right, sorry to keep going on about this camera, but it's new, so I have to. I do quite like the way that it keeps everything that you've typed in before, and you can just go through and edit, because you don't necessarily ever change a lot of these things. I do a lot of 100mm pipe work, they're all circular, and yeah, all that just stays on the screen, you just edit what you've got to edit, so it's a lot less for me to type, which is definitely a bonus. Do you know, the more and more I watch myself type on a screen, the more and more I'm convinced I'm dyslexic. Let's get the camera in and finally find out why this keeps blocking. I did think it'd be a good idea to run the sink just to get some water on the camera head, just to get it to the right temperature where it's not going to steam up. It was -1 last night. So I was having the usual problem of cameras steam up. Any system you've got is going to do that because, like I said, they sit in a cold van on the way to the job, and when you get there, they go into a boiling hot room like this one. Heating's on full in here, slightly too hot if anything, and it just condensates on the lens. So if anyone's got any recommendations, like I said in the previous video, please let me know. But straight away I can see it is turning right here. I am going to click the record button. Just like that. I'm going to put in where I am starting from. Sorry, I've got the brightness turned up too bright on this tablet. I will turn it down for future, because GoPros don't like light. They don't like dark places, they don't like bright lights, and this has got a combination of the two. These restaurants are possibly the darkest places I ever work. I've always got to use my Festool light, which is why you can actually see what I'm doing. I recorded one yesterday, and literally I just deleted the footage when I tried watching it back because my work light went flat and you can't see anything I'm doing. Are you ready for this? Now, this is the footage I pulled straight off the box. I actually Dropboxed it to myself, which, again, handy feature of this camera. I know I sound like I keep going on about this camera, but I want to show it to you. I want to show you how good it is. Because, yeah, that's what I do. Same as I did with the Picote. And I've actually got a new tracer as well, which hopefully I'm going to show you that soon because my old one died on me. Well, straight away, there is some paper holding in the bottom of the line. You can see there's a bit of water there as well. We'll see if we can push through that and get down to the junction where it meets the main line. We will worry about the main line later on in this video. I just want to machine down to that junction. So, yeah, at the moment I've got the gent shut off, but I feel like I can do the main line with the toilets open. But I don't know if you caught a glimpse of that. Just try and clear it a bit. But this is very restricted right on that T, which is exactly what I was expecting. Because every single time I've cleared this blockage, I've always felt like it is blocking here. It always blocks with the right-hand toilet. You then plunge the right-hand toilet, and then the left one blocks. So I was thinking, blockage is happening here. As soon as I push that blockage forward, I then block the main line. Right, I think it's about time we get the camera out and we bring the Picote in. And when I went out to get the Picote, that's when I found out that I had a parking ticket on the van, which is just what you want. So here's the Picote, just like that. And what we are going to do is machine down with the Picote, and then we're going to get the camera behind the chains, and hopefully we can see what's going on. As I normally do with these kind of descales, we're going to use the cyclone chains. I'm not going to use the ones with the teeth on. I don't think this scale is really hard enough for it, and it's in a plastic pipe. So we will just get the cable down around the bend, and as I said, we'll get the camera behind, and you should be able to watch this go down through. And hopefully we will clear most of that scale off. Okay, something I wouldn't usually ask people to do, but can you please just pause this video? I've left a link down below this video that'll take you to ScanProbe's website. Just go there and have a look at what they're doing. They're making some brilliant systems. They've completely redesigned their cameras. Their Xrange is like a flagship. And yeah, I think they're great cameras. And yeah, I want people to see what they do. I'll tell you what, they've got some really awkward tight bends on this pipework. Really sharp bends. Do you know what? I actually think it's going to be easier if I pull the camera out and the Picote chains out, and we will just pull that pan connector out of the way, because I'm then closer to that 90. It's still going to be a horrible bend to go around, but I'm a bit closer to it and it's not quite so restricted. Ideally, when you do this, you want a bit of water flowing down to wash anything away that you are flicking off the pipework. But as soon as I ran the taps, it was going to flood the floor, so there's not really a lot I could do about it. Yeah, where I'd broken it up, this has gone all sludgy and it's just flicked absolutely everywhere around the pipe, all over the camera. We're going to have to try and machine this, put the toilet pan back in, flush some water, and keep doing that until we've got it clean enough. Right, I'm sorry about how bad a picture you're getting on this, but yeah, with all this sludge in there was no avoiding the camera lens getting absolutely covered. Right, my plan now is to put the toilet pan back in, get the sinks running, and we're going to flush this toilet about 100 times, and hopefully that is going to flush through the worst of the scale. We can then camera back down to that junction and make sure we've got all the scale off, or at least the worst of it. After another run of machining, which I didn't film, we're going to put the camera back down there again, and hopefully we should be near enough there. Do you know what? I just realised how many times I've said camera in this video. If someone wants some homework and wants to add it up, then yeah, feel free to count. You can see the nice big pile of scale that I've machined off at the end. I'm just going to try and break it up a little bit more. We got a nicer picture now. The camera's warmed up. See, did it again, camera. I'm just going to see if I can machine slightly around this bend. I'm then going to put everything back together. I think we've got this line near enough done. I'll machine it on the way back as well. But yeah, we need to get that main line looked at. Definitely. It does still look a little bit sludgy around the outsides, but all that is stuff I've broken off that the machine has just flicked everywhere with the chains. So yeah, plenty of water down this system should flush all that through once I've got the main line cleared. Do you know what? It always seems like these sinks are blocked, and it's all down to those little centres in the bottom. There's nothing you can do about it. Right, I'm thinking one more quick run down with the Picote, and hopefully that should do us for this pipe. Well, that definitely looks 100% better, so let's get this toilet pan back in. I've still got the other toilet line to deal with, and the main pipe along the back. So we will skip through the next toilet pipe a little bit quicker, and then the one down the back, it just went on and on and on. I actually spent 5 hours on this site, and ended up with 3 hours of footage. So yeah, I was pretty fed up by the end of this job. Toilet number 2 was very much the same. Again, like I said, we're going to gloss over this one quite quickly, but this one was very much the same. We machined backwards, dragged all that back. I then cameraed it again at the end and got a nice clean picture of the run. Best I could. It was holding water though because of the main line, because of the amount of scale I've put down it. So I did do exactly the same with this run as I did with the other one, and put the toilet pan back in, flushed it lots of times, took it back out, put the camera back down, and all that stuff, and made sure it was clear to the main line. But yeah, we'll not worry about that one. This is the less interesting one. You now join me in a really small kitchen cupboard where they have this bung in a pipe that is sticking up. And this is going to give us access into the main line. Not that I can pull it out one-handed whilst holding a GoPro. So let's see if we can see anything on this line at all, because I know there is an awful lot of scale in it, which I've pushed down from the other lines. You gotta give it ScanProbe, ease of use. How easy was that to get this camera recording? Not that you can see a lot because the line is holding water, scale, sewage, and absolutely anything you can get down a pipe. So yeah, we've got to deal with this line because that isn't flowing anywhere. So I went back into the toilets, flushed as much water as I could down the toilets, got the taps running in the sinks, and hoped it was going to push all this through so we could actually see what was going on. I really wish there was an easier way of doing this. Obviously the machine does a great job of breaking up the scale, getting it off the pipework and getting it nice and small so it can be flushed away. But if you can't get loads of water running down the pipe as you are machining it, it really becomes a problem and it piles up like this. So I think what we're going to have to do is just get the Picote down there, keep breaking up that scale till it almost becomes like a sludge. Plenty of water, keep flushing the toilets, like this. And try and get it to keep moving. Almost need some kind of vacuum or something on the end of the Picote. Someone invent that. When I say I am working in a cupboard, it is absolutely tiny. This is the space I've got to work with. Just enough room to get the X60 in here and the Picote, which isn't ideal at all. Right, I'm now going to go flush a load more water down this pipe and try and get this to flush through. I don't really need to say it, but obviously I've sped this footage up. You can just tell how much of a nightmare I was having with this job, with being able to flush the toilets and get plenty of flow through it whilst trying to machine it, whilst trying to camera it, and there was an awful lot going on in a very small space. This job was honestly one of the worst descales I've done for a long time. Let me know in the comments if you agree with me. So yeah, I think you get the idea. It was just a case of machining up and down, breaking this up as small as possible and getting as much water down through the drain as possible. One thing I have just realised though is I didn't record the drain clean at the end, which is really annoying, especially as I've just got this far through editing the video. But take my word for it, it was near enough spotless when I finished. That is really annoying. 3 hours of footage and I didn't film the ending. It's about right, isn't it? It's just been one of those days. So the way I did clean this scale out was to push the camera forwards and backwards, pushing lumps like this down around this right hand bend that goes along the back of the ladies' toilets. I then carried on flushing the ladies' toilets, which are coming in on the right hand side, to this drop here, which is where it drops down the stack pipe, and yeah, plenty of water. Just kept flushing and flushing the toilets, pushing it down there, and then yeah, pulled the camera out and plenty more water. Obviously I machined this through again till it was nice and smooth. Something that did happen whilst I was still on site was the urinals overflowed. Completely separate blockage, they go a completely different way. And yeah, I just happened to be there when they started overflowing. So I also cleared the block urinals. I'm going to move that footage onto the next video though, so make sure you come back and check that out. And I promise you I filmed absolutely all of that one. But yeah, if you've made it this far through the video, we're nearly at the end, but if you made it this far, please let me know in the comments. The really silly thing is I actually filmed myself surveying the drain when it was clean at the end. I'll tell you what, at this point I was just glad to get the cap back on. Yeah, I've got no idea why there's a random drain bung sat on top of the pipe, so I just put it back where I found it. And then whilst I was dealing with the urinals, I just carried on flushing the toilets and running the sinks, just to make sure. What we have done with this one is recommended a quarterly descale to keep on top of the scale in this pipe because they can't let it build up that badly again. Right, I'm sorry about the ending of this video, but if you have enjoyed this video, please leave a like, leave me a comment, let me know you made it to the end, and if you haven't already, please subscribe, and please go check out ScanProbe's website. I will leave a link at the end of this video in the end card. I will also leave a link in the description below. But yeah, I'd like to help them out, so please go check out their website, look at their range, they make some great kit, and I will see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.
Please like and subscribe and leave a comment.